What's up everyone, my name is RoyaleRebelle, and in this video I'm sharing my thoughts on the latest Dead by Daylight mid-chapter update. For those of you who might not be aware, last week's mid-chapter update included another nerf to Dead Hard and an overall nerf to self-healing for survivors. Now since this update's been out, there's been plenty of mixed feelings towards the update. Some players are saying the game is the most balanced it's been in years, while others are calling this the worst update ever. I think I have some insight on why there are these polarized views on the update, and this stems from a long-standing issue with the developers of Dead by Daylight, and that's balancing Swifts with solo queue. Now Dead by Daylight was not designed with Swifts in mind, or at least Swifts that are using voice comms, which is kind of crazy considering programs like Discord and consoles having team chat were at least decently well known if not fully established when this game came out. And with the console integration of Discord, it's only become more popular to use. The problem with these programs and the design of DBD is that it inherently gives Swifts an advantage the game did not account for. Now a good chunk of the player base, if not the majority of the player base, still plays DBD as quote-unquote intended, without using voice comms. But when the majority of popular clips, streamers, etc. feature people playing in a Swift, it tends to inflate both how common they actually are and how powerful they are. So in conversations around making the game balance happen, there's more weight given to Swifts than there should be. And the developers have never quite gotten the balance between Swifts and solo queue right. And this recent update was very obviously trying to encourage more altruistic playstyles, but it goes about it the wrong way. Instead of tweaking the game to reward and encourage altruism, it punishes the players for taking quote-unquote selfish actions, such as choosing to heal yourself instead of going to another player to be healed. And this is where the discrepancy lies. Because Swifts have the ability to communicate, they can still take advantage of the updated Dead Hard and healing mechanics because they have that ability to communicate. They still have that advantage over solo queue. And this update just took away mechanics from solo queue that at least made up some of the difference for not being able to communicate. I think the developers really need to focus on mechanics that actually encourage altruistic playstyles instead of taking things away from solo queue players. Reward them, not beat them down. A couple good examples of this is the visual indicator. This at least gives solo survivors some information about what's going on in the match so they can make decisions to increase survival chances. And the new teamwork power of 2 mechanic that came out with the Tools of Torment survivors, which directly rewards players for healing someone else and sticking together. Ultimately, I don't see a true balance coming between solo queue and Swift until the developers put in game comms. I've been advocating for proximity chat for a while for a few different reasons, primarily because you can put in all the visual indicators you want, but nothing is going to equal that ability to directly say what's happening. Also, being able to speak humanizes players. Part of why I advocate for in-game chat to come to Dead by Daylight also benefits killers too. When you just see pixels and text on a screen, it's really easy to forget there's a human behind them with real emotions. In games like Prop Night and Friday the 13th, killers are able to communicate back with players, which creates the ability for not only banter, which can be fun, but you can also communicate when someone feels like they're struggling. It allows you to have more sympathy for the player. Instead, what we have is players who get so much built up anger and aggression because those feelings don't have a release that can be heard until the in-game chat. And too many players just let all their frustrations out in that moment, and this doesn't help curb toxicity at all. I also think another avenue that can kind of help curb this discrepancy is introducing a competitive queue. There is very obviously a group of players who want to try their hardest to win, use the dirtiest builds they can think of, etc. And then at the same time, there are players who are just in it for a more casual experience. Sure, they're still trying to win, but they don't want to do it with a sweat on their brow. Allowing these two mindsets to live separately will better match up players not only with closer skill sets, but compatibility. Because if you're a player who's had a long day and you just want to play Dead by Daylight to unwind, you're definitely not in the same mindset as someone who's trying to get as many wins as possible, and that leads to a lot of friction in the player base. I really do hope the devs are considering changes like this soon, because it's so disheartening hearing players say that they don't want to play Dead by Daylight anymore, or how the game is no longer fun for them. This game holds a lot of nostalgia and love in my heart, and I don't want to see it go away or the player base dwindle, but I still think there are plenty of areas the devs can improve upon. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so I can bring you more Dead by Daylight content. And if you want to check out my Twitch streams, I currently go live Monday through Thursday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.